Hello everyone, this is Nate, also known as Big MC Nate, back again with another video. And a long overdue video that is. This has been the video about the bike that I have been unable to release other videos about because it would really screw up the chronological timeline of events and, I don't know, insert fancy words that make me sound more educated than I actually am here. This is Suzi, the 2009 Suzuki TU250X, my first real bike. So today, again, I'm not going to bore you with specs. You can Google them yourself. Nothing particularly fancy. It's a single-cylinder 250cc bike. Why some would call it beginner bike, but me, I'm just going to call it bike. I don't like putting labels on bikes like that. Any bike is a beginner bike if you begin to learn how to ride on it. So just like yesterday, except this time I have remembered my sunglasses, we're going to clean Suzi here. It's not going to take near as long. The video's not going to be near as long, hopefully, and I have a whole lot less rambling to do. So to go over the bike, it is a 250cc single-cylinder 2009 Suzuki TU250X. Makes about 16 horsepower, makes some torque measurement, but the background of the story is that when I was looking on Facebook Marketplace, as I do on a regular basis, for my first bike, I was looking between 200 and 500 cc's and preferably under $2,000. This bike ended up meeting both those requirements and was posted by a local seller who also happens to be a mechanic at one of the local dealerships. So I pinged him, we arranged a time, I bought the bike. I think he's a little younger than I am. Yeah, I think he is a little younger than I am. Was selling this as he already had another bike. He didn't need two bikes, so I have it now. To go over a little bit about when I first picked up the bike, it needed tires, it needed a valve adjustment, it needed a spark plug. I put an LED headlight and brake light in it, haven't changed the turn signals. I added 2 Kamimoto saddlebags. I just popped the rear seat off, their universal jobs, really easy to put on. Nothing too particularly fancy about the bike. It's a pretty simple bike that I've sort of set up to look, I don't think bobber is the style I'm looking for, but cafe racer. I don't have the cafe racer bars, but I did put bar end mirrors on it, all being one a little loose. I need to fix that. That and the stock mirrors really could not see around me that well. I'm a rather wide individual. The camera doesn't do that any justice. So I found the bar end mirrors worked well. Knowing what I know now, I should have gone with CRG lane splitters like Quasi-Motard has on his bikes, but these will suffice for now. What else did the bike get with my ownership? It got new sprockets, new chain, new, I think it's cush drive, flushed the front brake fluid. The rear brake is a drum, something this light. You really don't need a fancy rear brake setup, I suppose. What else? It had a front fork rebuild done this season. Outside of that, it's been a fairly reliable bike. I actually toured this with a 30-liter pannier bag on the back down to North Carolina here from the West Virginia Panhandle. So I did just about 900 or so miles in a long weekend. It was a regular weekend. It was a Friday to a Sunday. Left Friday, arrived Friday night, and there's another bee. Left Friday, arrived Friday night, returned home on Sunday, and the bike averaged north of 50 to 60 miles per gallon. I was basically full throttle the whole time to keep up on some of the less crowded interstates, but it did well. It was really respectable. Rode with a couple larger bikes down south, and I was actually surprising other riders. They're like, "You want to take something this small that far?" Absolutely. Do you know people who take 100 cc's across the country in the Scooter Cannonball Run? This ain't nothing compared to that. So the conversation was funny and gained respect from a few of their brother Harley riders, so that was pretty cool. This bike is overdue for a bath. I let them sit uncovered so bees don't get under the covers, so in doing that, they get covered in pollen, especially here. Really the only thing, I won't even say it's mechanical, but really the only thing the bike absolutely needed was a valve adjustment. The previous owner claimed that he did. I don't think he did, or if he did, he didn't do it right, because I had another valve adjustment done on this bike. The manual calls for every 3,000 miles to have one done, and I swear the motor did not feel so perky when I bought it to how it feels now. I can actually haul myself at 60-65 miles an hour down the road rather comfortably post valve adjustment. Prior to that, the bike struggled to do anything above 50-55, so the exhaust valve was slightly out, but the intake valve was considerably out. So after those have been adjusted, I mean, the bike runs like a top now. It's great. The maintenance on this bike is dirt cheap and dirt simple. Takes either a quart to a quart and a half of oil, and the manual calls for every 5,000 miles. I call for every 3,000 miles. I use high quality, professional camera work. I use high quality synthetics on all my bikes, so I figure the Harley I'll let go 5,000 miles because it has a filter, but being that this bike's, actually it does have a filter, but it's considerably smaller, and this motor has to work harder. It shares fluid between the gearbox, clutch, and crankcase. I do every 3,000 miles. It's far cheaper to do that than it is to put a new motor in it, especially as it ages. And because I refuse to remember manually what my oil change intervals are. I know what they are, but I couldn't tell you the last time I changed this bike's oil. I ordered a roll of these oil change stickers, or service stickers, from Amazon. Super cheap. So whenever I change my fluids, I do this on the Harley, the truck, and this. I put a sticker on the windshield saying when the service is due. So in this case, if you can see that, I'm due at 18,570 and the bike has 15,896 on it. Actually, I've got 117 miles on this trip. I'm not even close for gas yet. I might need to get gas in it at about 150, 160. That actually brings to mention one of the things I needed to do. This backlight burned out. I couldn't see how fast I was going at night unless I had my phone posted up here, which I don't actually have my phone up here anymore. I've got both of the phone mounts on the Harley. One quad lock for the phone, and then the RAM mount to put the GPS in. So I'm going to have to pick up another mount for this. One thing that was hard to get used to was this fuel light. You've obviously got your neutral light, but you also have a fuel light. On the smaller bikes, you use your trip and your trip count to get an idea of how much fuel you have left in the tank. I primarily do that on the Harley, even though it has a fuel gauge. The fuel gauge is more of a reference than anything. I know I can get 160 miles out of the Harley tank before I need to be looking for a gas station, and this bike is just about the same. My ADD brain has me everywhere today. So yeah, really the only thing this bike needed right off the bat was tires. I put tires on. These are Bridgestone Battle X BT 46s, I want to say. I could be entirely wrong. I did pop the front fender off. It was both cracked and didn't actually match the rest of the bike in terms of paint, so we pulled that off. And when they did the front fork rebuild, they took the state inspection sticker off, so I have to go get this bike re-inspected. So that is a little bit annoying, but that is what it is. Finally got the light re-aimed as well, so the light actually points the correct way. Didn't know how far out it was until I did it, and man, oh man, that made a difference. I'm gonna have to find my toolkit. That's not okay, and I don't know where my screwdriver kit is right now, so that's something I'm gonna have to take care of off camera. So yeah, that's really all I have to talk about. It's a 2009 Suzuki TU250X. I have a lot of content, oil change, I think I captured doing the brake fluid, and possibly a few other things. I think I went over putting the LEDs in. I don't remember. It's been a while. I got this bike last year. I filmed a bunch of content for the bike, but now the welcome, hello, and introduction video, this video, I'm finally getting around to about a year later. You know, things just sit in the queue for a while. Winter happened. Harley happened, so I've just edited the Harley's introduction video. Today is April 30th. I shot that yesterday, April 29th, so fingers crossed it'll be on the internet tonight. I cut down 40 minutes of rambling to about 15 to 16 minutes, which I'm great at rambling, as you can tell. So thank you all for watching. If you liked the video, give it a thumbs up. If you didn't like the video, give it a thumbs down, but make sure to tell me why in the comments. If there's anything else you'd like to see out of these bikes, drop me a DM or a comment and let me know. Till next time, take care. See you in the next one.